This is a typical day in the life of a married 24-year-old making six figures remotely. I currently work as a data analyst at a startup. I've been working at this company for nearly 2 years now, fully remote. We do travel a bit for on-sites and client meetings, but other than that, this is how my mornings typically go. I've been living with my wife at the apartment you see now for about 7 months. Rent is $2,000 a month, which we split according to how much we both make. I think finances for married couples are very important and at times could make or break a relationship. My wife and I do a good job of handling them all, but if you guys are curious how we split things, how we manage the cost of our wedding, apartment, and other big purchases, leave a comment below because I think it'll be interesting. So my wife you saw in the previous clip works a hybrid job. 2 days out of the week she works from home, so she uses the living room as her workspace. I do feel pretty lucky that I get to see her every day. I know some couples may only see each other a few days at a time or during very late hours of the day. I'm aware that this is a huge blessing and I thank God every day for it. So back to my actual day. Sometimes I start with a cup of coffee and check work emails, messages on my phone. My role is pretty ambiguous given that it's a startup and roles are very fluid. That's actually one of the reasons why I was able to argue for a higher salary. I think another interesting video would be how I broke into tech because I'm actually a business major. Everything I know tech-wise, I learned on the job. It's a very small amount, but it can take you very far. A lot of people ask if I prefer working from home versus being in office. I think the pros and cons are very obvious. The biggest pro is that I can just roll out of bed and my workstation is 10 feet away. My wife commutes 2 hours when she's in office, an hour back and forth, just to put things into perspective. The cons are that I don't go out or move around much. It does take a toll on my health. To be really transparent with you guys, there are days where I take under 100 steps total. I don't actively work out, but I'll go hoop every so often with friends. I'll hop online anywhere between 9 and 10 a.m. Surprisingly, there's not that many people that work in the Eastern time zone like I do, so starting at 10 a.m. is fine, and honestly 9 a.m. is pretty early. Instead of giving you a general idea of a typical workday, I'll explain the task that I actually did. The client is wondering how our platform helps them improve share against competition. There's a term in the analyst world called storyteller, so I'm looking to answer their question with data points that they asked for, along with a few more nuggets to try and tell a story. In order to do that, I use SQL, Tableau, and Excel. I personally don't use Python, but a lot of folks do here. And if any of you guys know anything about SQL, it is very easy to pick up and learn. I also talk with clients a bit to discuss their performance with our platform. I try not to look too rusty on camera. My secret trick isn't to throw on a button up, but wear whatever t-shirt is most comfy and throw on this professional looking vest. That seems to do the trick. I'll eat lunch whenever. When my wife is working from home, I try my best to eat with her. I think today I ended up eating lunch at around 1:20 p.m. I was just caught up in some work, and for me personally, I find it hard to stop midway through a task and pick it up again some other time. It just ruins the train of thought, so if I can wrap up whatever I'm doing and close it out, I'm willing to take the extra time. For food, we try to do groceries every week, but admittedly, we end up just getting takeout or eating out. This is definitely the biggest area that we as a couple could trim down on financially. We're currently saving up for a house, and we were actually looking for one before moving into this apartment, but as you may know, interest rates are through the roofs and are only getting worse. I think there's a negative connotation when it comes to renting. A lot of social media gurus will tell you that rent is a sunk cost and the money you pay isn't actually going towards something you own. That's true, but I'm here to tell you that I really could not care less. If I pay $24,000 for an entire year's worth of rent, that's not $24,000 down the drain. That's $24,000 towards living with my beautiful wife and creating countless memories in a place we'll remember forever. I think a lot of people are caught up in the save money now to be financially free later on lifestyle, but honestly, I think that's a terrible idea. I'm not saying don't save on money, but do the things you want to do and enjoy your life. I had money and I wanted to move out with my wife. The house didn't work, so instead of living with my dad for a year to save on rent, we decided to just move out on our own. My best advice to anyone is that life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments. You should live every day. Sometimes we get caught up in trying to reach a goal, and in the meantime, our days are mindless and end in the blink of an eye. One day it's June, one day it's August, and one day it's September and the summer's over, and while you were working so hard to achieve a goal, your warm summer days are gone. Got sidetracked a bit, but back to my day. I ended work at around 5 p.m. Surprisingly, things went smoother than usual and I was able to wrap up quickly. After work, my leisure is playing video games. The same spot that I work at is the same spot I play games. Supposedly, this isn't good for your mental health and we should try to keep our work and leisure spaces separate, but honestly, I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm an introvert and love staying at home, so keeping everything in my room doesn't bother me. We had leftovers for lunch and unfortunately don't have anything for dinner, so we decided to eat out. I spend most of my evening editing this video. This is one of my hobbies and it gives me a nice little creative outlet in the comfort of my own home. There's a lot of things that I like to dive into for future videos, such as how the marriage life is, my job, salary, our relationship with Jesus, and other hobbies. But for now, this is a typical day in my life. I thank Jesus every day for the life he's given me. I'll leave you guys with one of my favorite verses. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Good night, y'all.